Hello everyone, today I'll be making the Velleman Classic TV game kit. Here is the circuit board, the resistors and diodes, the other components and the battery pack. So let's get started. So let's start with the resistors. These are the red resistors and they go in R1 and R2. Here's R1 on the board and here's the resistor. Just push it into place. And then R2, which is just here. Okay, now let's start with the diodes. This smaller diode here goes in D1 and the bigger one here, D2. Now let's solder them to the board. Hold the solder tip onto the pad and apply heat and then feed the solder in. Again. Okay, so let's do the second set of resistors. These are the brown, red resistors, and they go in R3 to R9. R3 being just there on the board, and R9 being just there. The next resistor is the yellow, purple, brown resistor, and that goes in R10 just here. And finally, to the last set of resistors, these are the brown, black, yellow ones, and they go in R11 to R15. To tell the difference of the smaller diode and where it goes, it has 1418 written on it, and the black diode, this one here, has 14007 written on it. The black one goes in D2, and the orange one goes in D1. Make sure you check polarity. The grey line, the grey stripe, just there on this diode, should match the one on the board. Just there. Finally, we've got the Zener diode, and they go in ZD1 to ZD4 on the board. And for example, one of the places is here, ZD1, ZD2, and the other two places are there, ZD3 and ZD4. Next up, we've got the IC socket and chip. The IC socket, just there, goes in IC1 on the board. See the little loop at the top? That must match the one on the IC socket. Okay, next up we've got the 5 push buttons, the switches, and they go in SW1 to SW5. Just here, 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 and here, and here. Next up, we've got the crystal. This goes here on the board, and it is this silver rectangle thing on X1. You need to get the silver holder over here so it stays in place, and you just put that over this crystal here and solder them into place. Next up, we've got the trimmer. This is the trimmer here, and it goes on RV1 on the board. Next up, we've got the smaller capacitors. These go in C1 to C3. These two here go in C1 and C2, this one here goes in C3. C C1 and C2 go there, and C3 is just there. Next up, we've got the electrolytic capacitors, and they go in C4 to C6. C5, C4, and C6. The longer leg, this one here, goes on the positive side on the board, just there. Next up, we've got the 3mm red LED, and this goes here on LED 1. Just making sure that when you put it in, the small leg, this one here, the shorter leg, goes at the bottom. Next up, we've got the 2 clinch connectors, which attach the kit to the television, and they go in SK1 and SK2. Just here and here. After adding the battery to the kit, I have completed the kit. To play with it, plug in a television lead into these 2 sockets into the television. And hooray, you're done.